Alright guys, this is just a quick video. I'm just trying to find a better balance with these where I can be helping you guys as much as possible while still having a life. I'm trying to show you the most effective ways of making gold, and I do save the most effective for my members. And that's just because they're really helping to support me making this channel to begin with. So I want to give them the best I can. But I am also still giving you guys all of this other stuff. And I know some people have been frustrated, and I think it's just valid to recall that most of you are receiving this content for free, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. Just perhaps consider being a little kinder in some retrospects. Just showing you today how I'm making gold with my tailoring. I make a lot of videos on how I'm making gold with my enchanting. And today we've done really well with that. I had a pretty significant mailbox open, 184,000 gold. Today we've 96,000 gold on the auction house. So Enchanting is doing insanely well. And if you want to know what enchants are selling like right now at the highest price, go and check my members feed out. Because I do that daily. I go through the enchants. I have a look at what's selling for the most, what's selling the easiest, what's got the least amount of effort. And then I make a video on how to do that for you guys. Go and check that out if that's something you're interested in. But today's video is going to be basically about these patron orders. So I'm just filling in. You can see I've completed a guild order. I've just done a public order. There's a lot of ways to make gold this expansion. Just in the start of this video, how much gold have I made? 5,000 gold? Something like that. Yeah, 5,000 gold pretty much. What I'm going to do is reload for today because we want to see how much gold we're making while doing these patron orders, and I don't want my other gold things that I've done today to be affecting that. So you can see here it's showing we've made no gold. So we're going to go and have a look at how to make gold with patron orders and a couple of ways we can do that. So I'm using CraftSim No Mats No Make, and basically what it does is it shows you what you're going to get out of it before you're even in it in terms of your patron orders. There are some of these things that make quite a bit of gold, and you're going to get a tailoring knowledge point to boot. My tailoring is pretty well decked out. There's really not much more I can do in terms of maximizing gold, except for perhaps going into other areas that just make my life easier when I'm creating my own gear and things like that. I suppose I should show you really quickly what I am spec'd out in, just so you guys, if you want to copy, you can. I'm not saying I have the best in all of the land or anything like that, but it is working. I am making lots of gold. I will say right now Enchanting is making way more gold, but that's like a... Tailoring was making loads more gold at the end of the last season. So I suppose what I've got is some really consistent gold making strategies in terms of the big boom at the beginning, being able to run through that, and then also being able to help people gear up and create alts for the next one, which is what tailoring was really doing. Before completing these patron orders, I encourage you to use a Vial of Bountiful Seasons. You can see it's 75 gold on the auction house. I just have the silver level one. The gold level one does have value, and it's definitely, if you're going to use the 30 minutes wisely, definitely go and get the gold one. I just have a lot of these silver ones, and I'm still working my way through them before I go and start buying the gold level ones. So that's just what's going on there. I've also got a buff on, and I'll probably redo it for when we go and look at the Enchanting patron orders. But the buff gives me like extra, and I'll talk about that more when we're there. But just in case you're wondering what that is there. The Vial of Bountiful Season works for every profession. It's not tailoring specific. If you've got a blacksmith, you can use it there. So what we're going to do is go through and fill the orders that are making us gold. So you can see here, this one is 8 exquisite weaver cloth. We're going to get 366 gold and a tailoring point, but we're going to lose 250, even with their little cut. So you've just got to decide what's worthwhile for you. Now, in terms of the Vial of Bountiful Seasons, you can see here it increases my resourcefulness to 16%, which really increases the chances I get some of these exquisite weaver cloths back. But ideally, I want them to be providing the materials. So here, weaver cloth bolts are insane, guys. If you've watched my video on the weaver cloth farm and you're a tailor, definitely consider going and doing that for now, because it's just, look at, that's just phenomenal. Especially look at the silver one. I've gone on a tangent, but the silver one is just the worst, and it's the most useful level. So yeah, go and see whether or not that farm is worthwhile for you. And that farm is really skewing the profit margins here in terms of what is making gold and what isn't. So we'll just go through and we'll have a quick look. Hopefully there is something that's worthwhile doing. Look, here's one. So we'll start this order. I don't think it's going to come up in my CraftSim log. For some reason, it doesn't record it when I make it for patrons. But you can see here, we've got 68 gold. We saved our whole 8 silver. Isn't that fun and exciting? But we also got that bonus that we're going to get out of the mailbox. So we'll just finish checking the rest of these. So this one is in profit, but I don't have the recipe. So that's my bad. So just going through. This is like the least fun part out of this. Normally these are more profitable not on reset day, just so you guys know. On reset day, the materials and things all get very expensive in terms of everybody's trying to use their sparks. Everybody's trying to gear up for raids for the week. It's just, if you've got materials, today is the day to be selling those. If you've got regions, like if you've done the farm, the Weavercloth farm that I've talked about, and go check out my other videos if you're not sure what I'm on about there. Now, today is the day really to be selling that, because just it's insane, the profit margins. So these are also really good. If you get those during the week, try to save those for reset day as well. So we're going to obviously make this one because it's going to make us 2,000 gold. So we'll just complete that there. There we go. So we made the Gleeful Glamour. What else do we have? This is in profit too. This is a first craft as well. I'm going to show you how we can make gold with the Artisan's Acuity as well at the end of this. Just because if you're like me, you get to a point where you've got more than you really know what to do with. It's just endless. So this is only 11 gold negative. I'm going to make this because the Artisan's Acuity is going to more than make up the gold lost there. And sometimes these bags do have better things than the add-on estimates. So 11 gold is not that much of a loss. Like, it's really not terrible if it is a loss, but I don't think it will end up being. And this one, that's just too expensive. Storm Dusters become expensive as well. So we're going to move away from that. We'll just see if there are any orders before we waddle along. So we'll use this. You can see here how my Artisan's Acuity has reached 600, and we'll go talk about that in a minute. We'll go pick up what we've got from the auction house. You can see already we've made 253 gold. That's before we've listed anything on the auction house. So we'll go and collect these things. Open them up. So we got a lot of Artisan's Acuity out of that. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to make gold with that. To definitely weigh up the pros and cons for the Artisan's Acuity about whether or not it's worthwhile buying, spraying, melting, whether it's worth buying new recipes. And I encourage you to go and look at the auction house and see what those recipes are selling for over a few days, unless the recipe is something you're buying for yourself. If you're trying to gear yourself up, or you know that this enchant or this recipe or whatever it is going to be something you use personally, definitely go and do it. But if you're looking for a gold making perspective, go and check on the auction house first. How much is this thing selling for? And is it worth buying it? I have made a lot of gold selling enchants, and I make a lot of gold selling enchants. Loads of gold, like ridiculous amounts of gold selling enchants. So there's definitely a pro there to buying some of those things. So definitely go and check that out. I'm not going to list this one on the auction house. I've counted it in the calculations, but I'm not going to list it on the auction house because I'm going to use it for my raid this week instead of buying one later. And I've got to open this because it won't let me open it with the auction house open. See, that was a dodgy one, but that's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world, 65 gold, but sometimes you get better, especially if you get like the ley-line dust or something out of it. All right, so we've done all of that. I've just double checking out the list, dropped it all from my bag. If you've been adding that up together with me, and you don't have to because I'm going to tell you in a minute how much gold we made, but just right there, we ran around, how long has this been going on? 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, we made 4,000 gold. And that was just, I didn't go farm anything. I didn't do anything special. I went and filled patron orders. That 4,000 gold is not counting the public order or the guild order that I filled. I actually made a lot more gold than that in the last 10 minutes. But from just looking at the patron order perspective, don't ignore them. That's 4,000 gold right there. And they are often more profitable not on reset day. So on reset day, the value of everything becomes so much more expensive. Like I said, sell your things on reset day if you can. But filling those patron orders, like you've seen, some of them I didn't fill them today, but I might go fill them on Friday because probably by then the market's dropped a little bit and those things will be profitable. So I've got my Artisan's Acuity here as well. I didn't pick all of this up now. You've seen that just then I got around 100 of these, maybe just a tiny bit less. So it does take a couple of days to a week to build up 600 of these. Okay, you need 600. You can get it from, I'll just show you on the map just in case. I'm over here in the Isle of Dawn. So you can buy formulas and things from this guy. You can buy, I have already bought them, but you can also buy like 10 skill points up. So if you're trying to build out your concentration build, that's something to consider. But what we're going to look at here is the Satchel of Surplus Supplies. So I'm going to get the dust one just because that's what I'm going to do. I'll probably use a lot of that and I'll talk to you about it once we get it. But you might find the other one's more beneficial if you've got just a tailor. I have a tailor as well, but the farming tailoring is really easy. It's not hard at all to get that cloth. It is a little bit harder to get the dust, at least from my personal perspective. So I'm going to buy this little bag and close this and open it. So we'll see here, we got a bunch of gold level stuff, which is, how much is this? So that's like a, well, 5,000 gold open bag there. Hang on, we'll math this, hang on. All right, so that was 5,661 gold just out of that bag. Now I'm going to do something with that and I'll explain to you why I'm doing that. But you can see here, that is making back a lot of gold from the Patron Orders. Some of the in deficits actually turn out to be in profit later. As long as you're being smart about it, if something's in deficit, I don't know, 0 to 150 gold, consider doing it anyway if it's giving you the Artisan's Acuity. Now, I'm actually going to go sell these things that I've just picked up because not only is it reset day and that those things are going to sell for more, but I'll just show you quickly in my bag that I prioritize the bronze level stuff because it's just what makes the most gold. So I used those as a flip before season 2. I bought those when they were stupidly cheap. I think they were like 18 gold each or something. And I've held on to them until now, and that's going to make me a nice tidy profit. With that, I will buy the bronze versions of these things. And you can see here, Storm Dust is worth 19 gold each, that one. This one's worth 117. If I sell this, I can use that 3,200 gold to buy way more of these. And I primarily make most of my gold off using bronze level things. So I'm just going to go list these things on the auction house for you guys. They sell really fast, especially today probably. I tend to leave them alone if they've been undercut, unless they've been undercut by more than 1,000, because people aren't usually going to buy big swathes like that. So I'm going to list these things, and like I said, with the profits, I'm going to buy the bronze level stuff in terms of the gold I get back. I'm going to buy the bronze level stuff, and then I'll get probably 2 or 3 times as many regions as I had before. I'll get 2 to 3 times more regions than I would have had before in terms of a gold making perspective. I'll be able to make a lot more profit. So we'll just swap those gold level things for bronze level stuff, and I'll be able to have 2 or 3 times the amount of regents to make things with. So I'll make a lot more profit that way. The other thing I do on reset day in terms of patron orders is I save my disenchanting things for today. So I'll disenchant things when I've got them today, if it makes sense to do. So you can see here, just as an example, this one. This is not worth enchanting. So if we open this, we'll have a look at one that requires these crystals. So you can see the gold level crystal is 139 gold. Yeah, you see it there? The chances when I disenchant this of getting a gold level crystal are already a bit wonky. Like, it's not guaranteed. I could get the bronze one. I could get 8 gold out of this. It's not worth disenchanting. It's not worth the risk. So I will only disenchant purple items that are at 63 gold or lower, because the chances, if I lose out there, it's not that much. But the chances of getting a gold one are still there, or at least a silver one from breaking even. So just have a think about that before you go ahead and disenchant these things. See, just because you're getting a material out of it doesn't mean it's the wisest course of action. If I disenchant this and I get a gold level one out of it, I've still lost gold. It's better for me to vendor this, and then with the gold I get from vendoring it, to go and buy these materials. So just really think it through before you disenchant some of these things. Try to be like wise about it in terms of making gold. Sometimes making gold is smarter, not harder. So that's really all for this video today. I think in total, with the bag and the patron orders, 9,600 gold. Again, that is not counting the personal order or the guild order that I filled. That's where we're closer to 15 or 16,000 gold for this 18-minute video. So there are loads of ways to make gold at the moment. Go check out my other videos if you're interested. You can subscribe. That super helps out this channel and it's free to do. If you'd like a bit more on the personalized value style, which is where I drop those what's making gold today and right now, those things that help you figure out what is making gold with minimal effort. Basically, I tell you what I'm doing today to make gold and what enchants or things to sell. You can join my membership tier if you want and see if there's anything in there that intrigues you. But otherwise, just watch this video and subscribe. It's free. Share it around if you found it helpful. Let's see if we can find ways to support this channel in creative ways. So hopefully you found some value here. I'm going to log off for now. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW.